Hey guys, so what I've noticed is that a lot of people struggle with figuring out N in financial maths. The reason I'm saying figuring out and not calculating is because sometimes they tell you that a deposit was made on 30th June, whatever it was, and then the last payment is made in May of the following year or something like that. So you could actually physically calculate it, but I noticed that people calculate that wrong, and it's because they look at N as a number of years. They don't look at N as a number of payments. So often when we count, we count like ooh, what am I doing with my recording thing? Okay. When we count like this, right? One, two, three. So it goes one, two, right? But usually with financial maths, if a payment is made on a certain date, we don't only count one, two, we count one as being a payment. This is being a payment. This is being a payment. So it's three. And that's where the confusion comes in. People don't look at it as a timeline. They see it as a number of years. So the first example we're going to go through, a trick of how to figure out N in this specific situation, situation one, is where payments start on a certain month and end in a few years' time, 1 month before the month that payment started. I know that sounds confusing, but let's say payment started in June of a certain year, and then they end the following year in May. May is 1 month before June. So it's 1 month before payment had started. That's what I'm trying to say. So in these situations, this is how you're going to figure out N. I'm going to write out an example. Okay, on the 30th of June 2013, at the end I can tell I'm gonna run out of space. John, comma, deposits X amount. I'm just writing AMT. I'm not giving it a figure because I don't want you to worry about too many numbers. We're just worrying about N. So you deposit X amount into a bank account. Bank account, I'm just writing BA. Until 31 May 2018. How many payments were made? Okay, cool. So please remember that there's a difference between when they say on 30th of June he took a loan out and made a deposit every month versus on the 30th of June and at the end of each month he made a deposit. The difference is that in the one situation where they say he took a loan out on the 30th of June and made a deposit every month, that means that payment will start 1 month after the loan is granted. Usually payment starts 1 month after. And think about it realistically. Can you start paying towards a loan the very same day that you take it out? No, right? Because that would be absurd. So it will usually start 1 month after you take the loan out. Now it's different when they say on the 30th of June and at the end of each month thereafter he deposits a certain amount. That means that we are counting the 30th of June 2013 as one payment. So now some of you might be thinking 2013 to 2018 is 5 years, and in 5 years there's going to be 60 payments done because there's 60 months, right? So you're thinking 60. But then you're like, oh, okay, but they're ending in May, and May is 1 month before June. So I'm simply going to subtract 1 and N is going to be 59. This is wrong. And this is a common mistake that is being made. And the reason it's wrong is because you're not realizing that you are counting the 30th of June 2013 as 1 month. I want you to count on your fingers with me. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That gave you 12 months, right? From January to December gave you 12 months. Now let's do that again. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. That gave you 13 months. Why? Because we calculated January as 1 month. So when you go to January the following year, we're not getting 12, we're getting 13. So you need to look at this as a timeline, not like you're just counting years. So the first thing you need to understand is that from the 30th of June 2013 to the 30th of June, 30th of June 2013 to the 30th of June 2018, there will be 61 payments made because we are counting the 30th of June. But now they're saying that they're ending in May. They're not ending in June of 2018. They're ending in May. So you're going to say 61 minus 1, which will give you 60 payments. Every single time you get a question like this, you must answer it this way. So if they're saying the payments are starting in August of 2013, he took the loan out in August 2013, or he makes the payment on the same day he took out the loan. He makes the payment on the 20th of August 2013, and he makes a deposit every month until June, July, August, until July of 2014. Don't be tempted to say that that's 11 months because July is 1 month earlier than August. You need to remember you are counting August. So that would be, you must think to yourself, okay, well, August of 2013 to August of 2014 is actually going to be 13 months. That's the thought processes that must happen in your head. And now because we're ending them in July, which is 1 month earlier, we're going to subtract 1, so we're going to get 12 payments. So just remember this method. You should be getting like a round number. And once you pick up this pattern, you won't have to do all of that calculations. You'll always know that if we have something like June to a number of years, but 1 month before June, then it's always just going to be linear. It's just going to be like saying 12 times 5, because that would be exactly 5 years. If it was February of a certain year to January of the certain year, you don't need to physically calculate because I already taught you that that is going to be 12 months, not 11, if you are calculating February as one payment. Okay, so that's the first situation. The next situation is where payments, the next situation is where payments start on a certain date and on a certain month, and they end a number of years later on that same month. So let me just write that real quick for you. Payments start it should actually be payments start in a certain month. But anyway, this is not an English lesson. Start on a certain month and end a few years later on that month. Right. So we're looking at questions where they say something like payments start on 30th June 2013 and end on 30th June 2018. I'm just using June and 2013 and June of 2018 because it's similar to the previous example, so we'll just keep going with that to avoid confusion. In this example, obviously they would have to say payments are being made every month and so on. So in this example, again, what some of you may be tempted to say is June to June is all linear and great. And if it's 2013 to 2018, it's 5 years. So it's going to be exactly 60 payments. But remember, you are counting the 30th of June 2013 as one payment. So it can't be 60 as in 5 years times 12 months. It would be 61 because it's going to be 60 plus 1, which should give you 61 payments. So that's the second situation where it starts on a certain month and it ends on that exact same month a number of years later. Okay, now the third situation is where a loan is taken out on a certain day and they say that payment only starts 3 months later or payment only starts 4 months later and whatever it is, right? But as a general rule, as a rule of thumb, payment of a loan usually starts 1 month after it is taken out. Okay, so a loan is taken out on a certain day and they say payment only starts a few months later. So remember, when you have questions like this, if a loan was taken out in, let's say, January, and the person missed 3 months of payment, or no, not missed, they didn't pay for 3 months, so payment only commenced 3 months later. You can't just use the loan amount that they gave you in the question. You need to understand that that would be implying that if you don't pay your loan off every month, you'll get no penalty. You can just start paying whenever you feel like. That's not true. If you don't start paying, make your regular payments on a loan, that amount will accumulate. For, let's say you leave it in the bank for 2 months, you don't touch it, you don't pay towards it, you don't do anything with it. That amount isn't just going to stay there, it's going to grow. For the 2 months you don't pay for it, it's going to grow in that time. And that's what you need to understand. Think of it as a penalty. Because if you say, oh, I'm going to use the same loan amount, it's as if you can just start paying your loans whenever you feel like and not pay whenever you feel like, and nothing will happen to you. So in this situation, a loan is taken out on a certain day and payment only starts 3 months later. So before you can even start doing other questions where you involve your future value annuities, present, well, obviously this is a loan, so it has to be present value annuities. Before you start doing all of that jazz, you need to remember that this amount needs to grow for the number of months that were missed. So what can happen is you may think, okay, they missed 3 months. Oh, well, payment only starts 3 months later. So now I'm going to look at my compound growth formula. And I'm going to say n is equal to 3 because they missed 3 months. That's wrong. Because remember, the payment of a loan only starts 1 month after the loan is granted, unless they say that the payments start immediately. So unless they say that, then the payments will only start 1 month after that loan is granted, which means if payment is only starting 3 months later, they didn't miss 3 payments. They only missed 2 payments, because in any case, payment was only going to start 1 month later anyway. So we say, okay, the loan was granted. So 1 month goes by, they haven't paid. Fine, cool. Another month goes by, they haven't paid. Now they have missed 1 payment. Another month goes by and they haven't paid. They've missed 2 payments now. So when you get situations like this, just be careful. If payment is only starting a certain number of months later, remember to subtract the month that they don't pay for. So over here you would say 3 minus 1. So that will give you 2 months missed. So n will be equal to 2 over here. That was the third situation. Okay, then the last situation was where, let me actually put a photo of it. Okay, cool. So this question says, on the 1st of February 2018, Genevieve took a loan of 82,000 from the bank to pay for her studies. She will make her first repayment of 3,200 on the 1st of February 2019, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not reading the whole thing because we're not worrying about the question, we're worrying about N. So the first question is, calculate how much you will owe the bank on the 1st of January 2019. So this is what I was talking about. In this situation, it says on the 1st of February, she took out a loan, right? It does not say that on the 1st of February and every month thereafter, she makes a deposit towards the loan. It just says that she took the loan out. So you are supposed to assume that payment will only start in March because she took the loan out in February, so it's going to start 1 month later. So payment should start on the 1st of March 2018, right? That's what you know. Now they're asking you, how much will she owe the bank on the 1st of January 2019? So I know you could physically count it now, but I want to avoid encouraging people to physically count out things, because when they start involving 5 years and 6 years and 7 years and 20 years, it becomes a little bit crazy. So don't try and do that. What I would have done is I would have said, had payment started on the 1st of February 2018, it didn't. I just use this method to make it easier for myself to count. Had payment started on the 1st of February 2018, then on the 1st of January 2019, remember that January is 1 month before February, which means there's going to be exactly 12 payments, right? Because you're counting February as one payment. So February to Jan is going to be 12 payments. But now I know, okay, we're not counting Feb because payment is only going to start in March. So then I'm going to say 12 minus 1. So I know that my N is going to be 11 payments. And that's all the advice that I can give you. I just want to double check something from my notes to make sure that it is actually correct. Yes, it's correct. Okay. So another thing that you need to keep in mind is when you grow this amount, like in the previous situation where I say you grow this amount for a certain number of months, make sure that that is your new loan amount. When you do subsequent questions, don't try and use the initial loan amount in your equations. Use the loan amount that accumulated, because remember, they now owe more. They have to pay more per month to pay off the loan because they missed a few payments, and they still have to pay a certain amount within the stipulated time frame. So if they missed a few months, it means they're now going to pay more because they have less time to pay it off. So you have to use the new loan amount. Don't try and use the initial one. And yeah, that's all the tips that I can give you for calculating N. And if you remember this, you should be fine. Good luck. And please like this video if it was useful to you. And if it wasn't, please comment below what could have been done better. Bye, guys.